Hey, Georgia.
Hey, honey.
Nice
So
to
nice to
see
see you.
you. Been a minute.
Has been a hot minute.
How are you?
I am good. I
That's
am good.
good. Right,
Actually warm.
Georgia's coming from us from sunny Byron Bay on the far north coast of New South Wales. And Georgia has kindly said she'd come along and have a quick chat to me today about her experiences on my retreat. Fortunate that actually Georgia and I met on via social media, I think, originally, didn't we?
On Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes, we're Instagram
As,
buddies.
as you do these days. A few years ago, and George has been on two of my retreats, cycling retreats, one down in the Victorian High Country, Bright, during the pandemic actually, and another one, and the other one was in Lucca in Tuscany. So I thought Georgia was a really great person to give her experience or her feedback to, talk a little bit about how she found the retreat. Is that okay with you,
Yes,
Georgia?
that is totally okay with me. If I had
Yeah.
my way, I'd probably be on all of your retreats in
Okay,
an unlimited time
you're
frame.
more than welcome to come anytime. But we'll keep
As
going because
always.
Georgia's a busy woman. She's got lots of fingers in lots of pies, so I don't want to hold her up too much. So, without further ado, why did you book on my retreat initially? I know you were following me on
Okay.
Instagram for a little while,
Yeah.
and you always used to comment, "Oh, I'd love to do these ones days." But what made you actually, book and come?
So, well, that first time when I was planning to do the Europe one, and then we
Yeah,
went into lockdown, the first time I was planning that, and what appealed to me was especially because I'd never been to Europe, was the fact that it was going to be guided. It was a small group situation, not too many people, which to me just felt really good. But if the fact that we were going
personal.
to be based in one location and
Yeah,
move around and really get to kind of immerse yourself into a
yeah,
location, that really appealed to me. And that it wasn't just all day riding. Like it's going to be challenging, but not you're not in the saddle like all day either. So
yeah.
it's food.
It was always food. You
As you
can't be
know, I
a
love
cyclist
the
without
food. And of
food.
course, that married really well with the yoga. And so
Yeah,
I just like, how perfect. Someone made a retreat for me. And yeah. And then we were in
lockdown.
lockdown. So there was no traveling overseas. And then we just had to wait. And then as soon as something opened up back here, and you put it out there that you were going to do something in Bright, I was like, okay, straight. And I just booked in straight away. So
Yay. It was a good
that's how that
time.
happened.
That was a great little retreat, that one. And then you came to Luca with me. Woohoo!
And that was beautiful. I mean, Bright was beautiful as well. And I just
Yeah,
loved the
yeah.
way that you created it. We had, it was just so good to mix and mingle with all different people, but we all loved cycling. And that was fantastic. And then Luca was the same. It was
Yeah,
just
cool.
unreal. But I think I just cried and laughed every day with
You
so
did.
much
You did.
joy and
I know.
gratitude. It was the scenery, the food, the people, all of it. I loved it,
Yeah, oh,
as
you're
you know.
too kind.
It
um,
was amazing.
was there anything that you were searching for before you made the decision to join, or not really? You just saw it and it
No,
appealed
it
to
just
you.
popped up. I don't even know how, this
I
is
think,
before there was an
yeah,
algorithm.
yeah.
So I don't know. No,
It
I
just tickled
just,
your fancy. You like the sound of it.
I loved the sound of it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And, it was kind of appealing too that you didn't have to take your own bike.
Yeah,
That was
right.
cool.
Yeah,
I
okay.
thought that's a
Yeah.
great way
Yeah,
to
all the bikes are
get
included.
around and not see
Yeah.
more of Europe as well
Well,
afterwards.
I
Yeah.
suppose, correct me if I'm wrong, but possibly you come from a triathlon background and you're also a yoga teacher yourself, just like me, although I'm not a
Yeah.
triathlon background. So the cycling with the yoga, um, you might not have been searching for those two things together, but as you mentioned before, the cycling and the yoga marry well together, and maybe that's what ticked the box for
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was another. Yeah. I was just like, well, we know how good it is for just slowing down at the end, just getting into certain areas after,
yeah,
being on the bike, and especially if you've got hills involved. Yeah. It's so nice to just stretch out and
yeah, perfect.
soften in. So, yeah, I was like, oh,
Nice. Tick, 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 tick. Did you have any doubts or fears before you came?
Um, I have to say, I didn't even really read a lot of stuff about it. I just
Oh God.
went in. I
All that
did
time and
start
effort I put into
thinking,
my collateral.
well, I just trusted because I'd already been to Bright,
Yeah,
and
right. Yeah.
um, I just trusted that it was going to be, I was going to be fine. Um, I think, as you know, I think I did contact you maybe a month out saying, well, I'm not sure if my hills that I'm riding are really going to
Yeah, I
like,
do remember whether you're doing enough training or not.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was totally enough.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, and was there anything that made you say yes
To look.
to come? Well, in general, to booking? No, not really. You just what?
Oh, well, as soon as I knew, and I knew I couldn't go, um, like when everything was opened back up again, I couldn't go that first year when it was opened because it was just not a good time with my daughter finishing school and stuff, and I really wanted to be around for her. But yeah, as soon as with that, no, I was just no booked in.
Right. Okay.
So
Cool.
if
Very
anyone's
good.
wondering, just book in, and then it all falls into place.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
You
I
book
find happens.
you book and then you plan around it. That's what I always suggest to people.
Yeah, and
Book and
that's
then plan.
exactly what happens. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, cool.
yeah.
Um, we've only got about 10 minutes left, I think, but that's okay. So we'll keep going. Um, how did it all turn out? I think you've already said you loved it and you cried every
Loved it.
day,
Loved it.
which I know you did every time I turned
Cried with
around
happiness.
in
It was just,
Tuscany. Yeah, you had tears in your eyes, or at the end of the day, you had tears in your eyes.
yeah, I loved it.
Good.
Yep.
And how did that make you feel? You loved it.
Amazing. Yeah, well, as you know, I think I've videoed
Yeah,
it
you
so
did.
much, and I've recommended it to so many people since. I just think it's an amazing way to see the country, but amazing way to see a particular area as well, and just really be immersed in it. Because, you know, if anyone's watching this, it's not just cycling. Virginia does go kind of above and beyond with these extra little things, which are a nice surprise
Yeah,
that
it's
it,
just not all about
well,
smashing yourself on the bike,
not just all
which you
smashing,
do, but it's yeah,
yeah,
there's other
but in a
stuff as
fun
well.
way. Yeah.
I think you've already answered one of the last questions I was going to ask you, but what would be the number one thing that you love the most?
Hmm. Oh, that's a bit
Yeah, it's a
tricky.
hard one, especially for you because you loved everything every
I
day.
loved it all. I love the camaraderie. I love being able to ride with different people.
You
Um,
love, yeah, it's hard.
and I just tried various.
I think it's pretty easy to say you loved everything.
It is. I just can't really pick one thing. Yeah, it's
No,
making
that's all
me
right.
making it
And you've
hard.
already just answered my next question. Would you recommend it to other people? And I know you've recommended it to lots, and you just answered that anyway.
Lots.
Yeah,
Oh, it's yeah.
yeah,
I think you do an amazing job at locations, scouting, and particularly with Luca, with Charlie coming along and
yeah,
guiding us all. It's great.
yeah,
Yeah, I think you do a great job.
yeah. All
So
right. Thank you.
yeah,
You can come back again anytime. Well, in fact, you are.
I am.
To Luca next year.
I know.
There you
I'm
go.
going to move to
Yeah.
Luca.
Well, that pretty much sums it up then, I think.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
Spain is on the radar too,
I
which is
know.
tricky because that means I would have to, I
Come
just
back
don't know. I
twice.
have to just move
Provence.
to Europe.
Provence. Provence is
No,
easier. Anyway, thank you for your time. I'll let you go.
you're
Um,
so,
I'll
thank you.
talk to you in the next week or so anyway about Luca next year or whatever. Um, yeah, we'll sign off now and I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, darling.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.